And now the end is near, so I face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain.
I'm with Louis Hoover. He's a superstar of the famous Rat Pack musical that was playing in the West End and all over the world, and actually more than 19 million people watched that musical. Well, Louis Hoover is also a Pattayan. He comes here on a regular basis, and in the series of important or interesting people that comes here to our fair city, we have now Louis Hoover visiting Pattaya People Media Group office. And Louis, I'd like to start asking you to give our viewers a rundown about who is Louis Hoover.
Niels, thank you very much for inviting me, because I come here, as you know, often, and it's a pleasure to come here to your centre here. Fabulous. I was born in London back in 1959. A very, very hot summer, and I believe the song Mac the Knife was #1 in both England, Europe and America at the same time, by the wonderful Bobby Darin. And my mother and father had a cafe restaurant, and my eldest sister, when I was very small, she was a pop star called Candy, and she had 2 hits in the charts in England. Then she retired when she was about 17. She didn't want to, she used to get nervous, in fact. But then the next sister down, she was a very good singer and would work the clubs, and my mum and dad would take her to the clubs, and there was a time when at 14 she was making more money than my dad. So then I saw this in my house, and
but I think it's important to point out that at those days, to be an entertainer or a singer, as you became, it was not really the most preferred occupation for children, or the parents didn't like it so much.
No, it's true. My parents were never pushy, but they could see that the kids had the talent. So I think because my parents came from the Second World War era, where many children had their opportunities squashed because there was a war going on. So I think that generation were more keen to encourage their children's talents and give them what they never had. So, but Niels, is very interesting that back in when I was young, it was so unusual for someone to be in entertainment. It was almost mystical. It was like, oh my God, he's a strange person. Nobody knew anybody who was in show business hard. And if you did, it was very unusual. But now with celebrity culture, every kid's got a guitar, everybody's gonna be a star, you know, or at least most children go through that phase.
And for you, you found some albums with Frank Sinatra, and that kind of was a change in your life. You got hooked on the music, and you actually went to see Frank Sinatra several times, but the first time at Royal Albert Hall, that was really a turning point in your life. Yeah. I remember you told me that you came out of Royal Albert Hall and you said to your girlfriend, I one day is gonna stand on the stage here in Royal Albert Hall and sing like Frank Sinatra.
I did say that, and
the rest is history.
And the rest is history, not geography, I know. But it was very strange because, as I said to you the other day, looking back, it was a premonition, because I didn't feel I was determined to do it. I knew. It was like I knew, but I had no idea how it was ever going to happen, because I was a kid working in an office in a brewery in London. But then as my career developed, the path opened up, and sure enough, in I think 2003, I played.
You were there on stage.
On stage with 60-piece orchestra, and 6-minute standing ovation. But I'm not bragging. The interesting part for me was the fact that I knew when I was 17 it was without doubt.
It was your destiny.
Premonition, yeah, strange.
Anyway, the Rat Pack.
Yes.
Very important chapter in your life, and
Yeah.
probably an ongoing one. How did it all come about?
Well, Niels, very interesting. My career was doing well as a jazz artist. Okay, you know, not bad at all. And I also had a show called Salute to Sinatra, which I still have. And some producers in London who'd never had any success really much before in show business. They got me to get together and said, look, we know that you know all about Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, the whole vibe, you know. Do you think you could put a show together called The Rat Pack, or whatever we're going to call it, but about the Rat Pack? And I said, immediately, if you get it right, it should run forever. And they said, that's a big statement. I said, why? I said, because the musical Buddy, I don't know if you remember it, in the West End about Buddy Holly, ran for 19 years. And okay, the Buddy show was the Big Bopper, Richie Valens, and Buddy Holly, and they worked the show to the audience like it was a big party. So I said, well, if we borrow that idea and work the Rat Pack out to the audience like the Rat Pack boys did back in the 60s in Las Vegas with a fantastic orchestra, the songs, if we just get the songs played beautifully and we do an okay job, people will come. And they may even come again and join the show like a club, like you would join a club.
Something like a cult situation.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. We had no idea what was going to happen. And then, of course, Robbie Williams, I was talking to Robbie Williams one night, and I have to admit I didn't know who he was. He just left Take That. And he went on to mention he wanted to do an album, swing album, called Swing When You're Winning. And he asked me, you know, what I thought about that and what songs should be done on the album. So I'm happy and proud to say that we helped with that. And because I love the music, when Robbie did his album, it introduced all the Rat Pack music to a whole new generation. So one helped the other, because all of a sudden at our shows we had all the youngsters come in, you know, from 18 right up to 85 years old.
But then you brought the West End musical to the States. And I think that must have been a challenge, because you're British and you were acting on stage with an American accent, and then going to America with something, you know, as an icon of American entertainment. British people coming there. How
Yes.
did they receive that?
Well, Niels, it's a very good question, because you have to remember now, this is a story unfolding about a kid who had a dream. I didn't go and apply for a job. I didn't go to an audition that's someone belonging to someone else's dream. I was in the middle of my own dream. And then when they said the Rat Pack has become so successful in the West End, you're now going to America. I mean, we couldn't believe it. And we thought there'd be union problems because they might want to use Americans in the roles, but somehow it got round it. They said, no, we need the specialists from the West End. And then we played massive theatres. The beautiful Fox theatres was among them in St. Louis, was where I opened there with the show. And it was like a dream, because we had to work with American accents, because we are playing the parts of Frank, Sammy and Dean.
How was it to come to Las Vegas? It must have been like a Muslim coming to Mecca.
Well, yeah, to go to Vegas was quite something. And the photo shoot we had around town was very funny and bizarre, because we were all in costume, sitting in the back of a pink Cadillac and driving around the streets while people took
With an
pictures.
Elvis impersonator as a driver?
They had, that was the funny thing, as a bit of, you know, a bit of comedy in the situation. And they had the best Elvis Presley guy from Las Vegas as our driver, as if to say, Elvis is driving the Rat Pack. It was a joke. And we visited the drive-in wedding chapel where Sammy Davis got married, of course. But the point is you're right, as a working class English boy, to have a dream, you know, because I was 15 when I found my first album of Frank Sinatra, and I should have been at school, but I was playing my Roxy Music, Rolling Stones, David Bowie, because that's my era, and I found, what's this guy? Who's this? And of course, the volume was turned up full, rock and roll volume, speakers this big. And I put the album on, and it was Sinatra singing Night and Day with that bam, bam. It was so loud, I'd never heard this music that powerful before, Niels, because before, we'd only heard it on a little TV speaker or a small speaker in a car, radio, you know. And that's when I was bitten with the bug. And so to end up to go to America, the London Palladium, and basically play the part of my hero, Frank Sinatra, was, I suppose, yeah, thinking about it now, with talking to you, is a dream come true, really.
And then your dream really came true. You came on the stage of Royal Albert Hall with your own show as a solo entertainer with a lot of famous people coming and watching you, and one of them was Sir Alex Ferguson. And
Yes.
I like to mention it because in this city we are football crazy. He said, if he played football like he sings, I'll sign him tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's quite a statement, isn't it?
It's quite
What
a
was your
statement.
encounter with Alex Ferguson? Please tell us about it.
Well, my immediate reaction to that statement was, I wish I could play football then.
But anyway, it's in your family. Alan Shearer is your family.
Yes, Alan Shearer is my cousin, once removed, and of course we were very proud of him back in the 90s. Now he's on TV as a pundit for the World Cup, and he knows his stuff. So yeah, I always say he got the feet and I got the voice, so, you know. But Sir Alex is a lovely guy, always very interested in other people before himself. Sometimes on TV he could come across as being a tough guy, but very gentle guy in real life. Loves music. His sister was she sung for a while with the Duke Ellington band in America. Not many people know that, you know. And he came to see the shows with his wife Kathy, and sat behind my parents, and it was very, very nice. And when my father died, out of the blue, this massive bouquet of flowers arrived for my mother from Sir Alex himself. He paid with his own card, you know. And he knew my father was an Arsenal supporter all his life, so he arranged with the Highbury at Arsenal, and they sent a bouquet as well. So there was two massive bouquets, which my father would never have believed. But yeah, Sir Alex was
Very heartwarming for your family. I'm
very
sure.
much so. And I have to say this, I hear lots of stories about Sir Alex like this. He never forgets the small details, and he does it himself on many, many occasions.
All right, we could talk forever, but I like to talk a little bit about Pattaya.
Oh yeah.
And you are a regular visitor here, like so many other people.
I am.
And I'm sure because you have really looked beyond all the bright lights and seen that there's so much interesting in this city. And what really attracts you to Pattaya?
Oh my goodness, I first came here in 1990 with my friend, and then there was a long gap, and some musician friends of mine come here when they are in between contracts, and it's just a magic to the place. It's unique, it's colourful, it's crazy, but it's lovely. The Thai people are really, really lovely. I find them different to Europeans in a very good way. Yeah, the diversity of food too, and the different places you can go, like you mentioned, the Italian restaurant near where I am, and of course one of my favorites, which is Pattayanis, the Greek garden taverna, Pratumnak Soitu.
Yeah, he moved to Pratumnak.
Yeah, he's moved to Pratumnak too, and a hell of a character and great cook, so you've got to get along there. And of course, there's just so much to do. I tend not to drive here because I'm relaxing, you know.
It's hard to relax in the traffic in Pattaya.
Yeah.
Okay, In closing, I like to give our viewers a little bit of taste of our next interview. Because something really, really exciting is happening in your life.
Yes.
By chance, you got to buy a recording, a live recording of Bob Marley that was not known of anyone to exist. And you bought it for small money, and you're probably gonna make a killing on that.
Well, we don't know. I don't know about a killing, but we're certainly looking into it to get the best we can, but also for a love of the music, because I also love all sorts of music, including Bob Marley. And about 4 years ago, a friend called me who was clearing out a hotel that was closing down, and he said, you know about music, we found these big boxes and it's got big heavy tapes in there. It's got Bob Marley recorded live in London, Paris. What do you think they are? I said, what are you going to do? And he said, they're going to be destroyed. I said, no, you can't do that. Just get them over to me. I'll pay you for them. So
I will cut in and say that was what happened, but we will know the continuation of that next time you come back to Pattaya.
Yes.
Which will be later this winter. And at that time, we will enlighten all of you viewers in what happened with the Bob Marley tapes.
Ooh, that's a cliffhanger. That's what we call a cliffhanger.
Louis, it's great to meet you, and
lovely.
Thank you for coming here.
Lovely,
thank
Niels,
you.
lovely. Thank you very much. Yeah, nice.
I'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New